Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here. I'm coming to you from my new place in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and new spacious surroundings. So I'm very, very happy to start the first official video with me here in this new place in Victoria. And of course, what we're going to be talking about in this video is dream time guides. So when we're looking into the entire phenomenon of guides, we have different types. So we have guides that can be family or loved ones in spirit. And they can work with you in different ways. There are family or loved ones that have passed away, and they're still around you. They're still within your space. And they will at times, if they're not able to get your attention from within, they will start to make a bit of havoc happen relating to your physical reality and to the external environment. Sometimes if a person is not getting the message, the spirit can often shake a table or basically drop a glass shatters, or basically feeling like you're just having a bit of a tug or a nudge with you at times. So they'll do anything they can to get attention from you. So that is one particular aspect of guides. And of course we have spirit guides that can work with you in a variety of different ways. Sometimes through, again, physical reality, sometimes through visions, and sometimes through dreams. But altogether, there are dream time guides, and these guides are just specifically designated for your dream time experiences. What type of guides could these be? These can just basically be beings, astral beings, that exist within the dream planes themselves, that are indigenous to that realm, that can actually work together with you. So these particular guides of the dream state has a variety of different forms pertaining to identity. So this can be the Fae, because there are Fae that exist in the astral ethereal realms just naturally. And they represent, again, oversoul consciousnesses pertaining to a monadic energy that is bonding together with you. There can also be mythical or mystical creatures that can bond with you. Okay, such as minotaurs, such as dragons, such as I don't know what else you call it. The ones that fly around, the ones with the horses with the wings. Unicorns as well can be another one. A griffin, sorry, that's one. That's a different one, but basically like the eagle wings and the lion, or the eagle head and the lion body and the wings, a griffin in that way. So a lot of different types of mythical or mystical creatures can also exist to function as your dream guides. You again can also have specific spirit guides, such as indigenous, Native Americans, ancient Mayans, Atlanteans, etc. They can exist simply in the dream planes, and they can guide you as well too. So there's no shortage of the type of guides that work together. Of course, we can have extraterrestrials and extra dimensionals and angels in that way within the dream planes. Basically, they have a certain role. It's not so much about the importance of the type, as it's more so about their job, about what their responsibility is, what they've signed up for in that type of contract. And so these particular types of beings, whoever they may be, are just contracted to work with you as catalysts within the dream plane. Now you can also see these catalysts as mind shifters. Now that's my own term and Adronis' own term relating to the idea of shape-shifting, right? People who are actually shape-shifting. I don't refer to them as that because really the whole idea is that shapes can't really shift. It's all based upon the idea of a sequence of events, a sequence of frames that come together and through the product of the mind, alter the frequency from one vibration to another. So it's a transition. Shape itself can't actually shift itself into something different, because in that reality, that shape will always be that shape. You are basically seeing a transition of many different realities to see one shape give the illusion of something else. So a square, therefore becoming a lima bean, I guess. It's not really a circle, but a square being a lima bean in that way would represent one particular aspect of this illusion of continuity as it pertains to mind shifting. So it's the perception of the mind's idea, that its own understanding of what the encounter is, shifts from one reality into another reality, and crisscrossing this bridge to have that square transform into the impression of a lima bean, right? So again, these are catalysts. They are mind shifters. So they're able to take different forms. So you may feel that, for example, that you're going through this really beautiful dream experience, and all of a sudden you're just around this kind of hall of mirrors. All of a sudden, you're just seeing different versions of yourself, and they're all talking to you. Well, these can actually be guides as well, too, just helping you to see different facets of yourself, because they're going to appear beyond the mirror and actually give you some type of intelligent message. So dream guides can be really, really helpful. We have the ability to work with a whole civilization or multitudes of different civilizations of different beings that simply just exist naturally within the astral planes, that exist just as we exist here in the physical plane. Some people can also refer to them as jinn. They can refer to them as fae. They can refer to them again as quote-unquote archons. You know, there's many different types and many different types of polarities as well, too. There's also artificially intelligent beings that exist in astral realms. Some that can be very, very beneficial to helping you, and some who may not. But again, that's polarity. You know, whenever we're looking into these group archetypes, we're looking into two sides of the coin, right? It's not about saying, oh my God, Brad said archons, they must be evil, right? Or Brad said AI, they must be evil, right? It's not looking at it in that way. It's realizing that there are two sides to every particular coin. So what about the Dreamtime guides? Why talk about this? What's so great about them? Well, just as we have appointed guides here in physical reality that can work together with us, like the loved ones in that sense, for example, that are trying to get our attention, we also have Dreamtime guides that are just specifically here to work within our dream plane. So what we can do is we can actually put a call out to our dream guides, because dream guides can also work together in meditative visions, because that too represents a type of dream state. So one recommendation of an exercise I can give all of you is being able to create a totem. Now, this totem can come one of two ways, okay? So, number one, you can conjure your totem, which means that you can actually create not so much guides, but they can function together in a guide-like capacity. You're basically creating, in that sense, projections. You're creating astral beings that are projections of your own consciousness and that can work with you and actually assist to navigate you in certain areas. This is a type of astral technology. So they could just simply be referred to as, let me write this out first. They can firstly be referred to as thought form entity, okay? A TFE. I'm sure other people may have other particular labels for them. That's fine. These are just thought forms. These are particular beings that are being created out of thought. And so they are manifested through your own consciousness. And they can function in many different ways. They can function as protectors. They can function as information gatherers. They can function, again, to help you travel and navigate to different dimensions as well, too. But these are thought form entities. These are the ones that you conjure. So they're basically soulless beings. But you are basically creating their hologram, and you're able to give them certain forms of designations. You can also be able to program them with certain forms of personality archetypes as well, too, subconsciously. So that's a totem that you can create. So with the totem itself, it represents an item in physical reality, like an anchor. Okay? So, the totem itself, whether it be conjured or, number 2, whether it be received, intuitively received. Okay? So you want to create this particular type of totem in that way. This is basically in regards to building a light body that Adronis has talked about. We use totems to actually create astral technology. Well, in this way, you can use a totem to basically summon a guide, or basically use that as a foundation, a template in regards to creating your own particular type of guide as well too. So let's say that particular totem would represent a crystal. Okay. So one particular example that I use is I have utilized a totem that represents a received, an intuitive guide in that way. This intuitive guide is a red dragon that I actually have in my dream state. I've met him a couple times already. Now, what is his function? He basically helps me to go into different dimensions. He can actually, I can see myself going on his back, and he's traveling through like hyperspace and going into different dimensions to showing me different degrees of my own Akashic levels. So being able to go into the Akashic records on a deeper level through the means of this Dreamtime guide. And this red dragon refers to himself as Amashiel. So he came to me in a dream and basically introduced himself in that way, not so much for his name, but just his presence. And he's just a huge red dragon. And then just being able to do a meditation, I was able to discover his name. And he revealed to himself as Amashiel. And so I basically took a crystal and I just wrote the name Amashiel down on a piece of tape, and I taped it to the crystal, and I started meditating on his energy. I actually invited him in through the dream plane, and he started to portal his own energy into the crystal. And so I was able to create a totem with Amashiel, and being able to communicate with him and interact with him anytime that I would call upon him in the dream plane. He's always there. And I haven't always connected with him. I've only connected with him a couple of times. And it was just a very, very fascinating experience, seeing these kind of transitions of moving from one dream plane into another. So that, again, is the idea of an intuitively received guide, or an intuitively received totem, where you are basically having a guide contact you personally. And you can then have arrangements with them if you want to explore different dimensions, if you want to look more into your Akashic records, if you want to view more about, your past, future lives, if you want to look into other collective events that have a probability of happening, whatever it may be. It's a rich tapestry of knowledge, the dream plane. So with the totems here, we're looking into something that is being conjured or something that is being received. So conjured beings, some people again will utilize beings in different ways, these thought form entities, many different ways. I've actually heard people who have done some pretty mean things to them as well too. Some people have actually used them for target practice, right? So, and I never condone that kind of stuff. It's all about the idea that it's always wise to look in regards to what you are creating in that state of respect, because it still shows you whether those beings are soulful or not, the type of person you are. If you feel that you are abusing these thought form entities and saying, oh, they're just soulless contraptions, they're just holograms, and I'll just shoot them every time they come up, that says a lot about that person's character. And that shows, again, that there's a lot of particular forms of contamination, a lot of conflict within his or her energy, that they feel that they need to conjure these particular beings to do something awful to them. So I would never, ever recommend that. It's all about being able to treat everything that is your consciousness with that love and with that respect. And of course, some people can even do that with beings that are willing to work with you, that will contact you, and they will actually start to form contracts. And they'll start telling you about, again, your Akashic history. They'll start talking about some upcoming events in your life. And again, they can give you a great enrichment of this information. They can take you to different dimensions. They can show you new realities. It's just, again, it's an endless reservoir of possibility. But there are those in that sense who actually abuse those particular guides that are being intuitively received, who are actually wanting to work with you. And basically, a lot of these particular guides, you have to be very, very careful. If there's a person who wants to try and take advantage of these guides, you're looking at karma, beyond measure if you are messing with them, right? This is, again, one of the biggest policies that I have discovered with spirit. Never trifle with spirit, right? It's the most important thing, because that will push you into the black arts like that right away. And you do not want that type of reality, an extremely fractured reality, and seeing karma points go out the window in that way. So you always want to make sure that when you're working with totems, that when you're working with dreamtime guides, these are living beings. Even if you're creating a thought form entity, there is still a life there, something that is a part of you, that you are reflecting, that you are projecting. So it's very, very important that you are sharing that state of courtesy, sharing that state of respect and appreciation, because these guides are here for you. They're here to work with you. They can take you on a tour of emotional imbalances that you're still going through. It can be quite intense and it can be quite conflicting, but they're showing you a lot of these things because they have agreed to work with you. So what about these guides that are intuitively received? Or you can refer to them as summoned guides in that particular way. So the intuitively received or the summoned guides, well, some can actually offer equivalent exchange. So basically, in exchange for their services, they may get you to fulfill a particular task for them. That may just be grabbing certain forms of plants and putting plants into your space, preparing certain types of meals. It may also be that you may need to talk to certain people as well, too. So there can often be conditions if you work together with some of these intuitively received or summoned beings as well, too. They will function in equivalent exchange. They will show you a lot about yourself because they have that access in the astral plane where everything is not so dense. And they can give you a lot of these particular types of visions, ideas, but again, they mainly meet with you in the dream state, in the dream plane. There's a lot of exciting things you can do with Dreamtime guides. But if you really want to get that kind of extra assistance, you can create this particular type of totem. You want to discover exactly what type of totem you want to use. Do you want to use a rock? Do you want to use a gemstone? Do you want to use a crystal? Do you want to use a pyramid? Do you want to draw something on paper and represent that as a symbol that you have conjured? Again, with intuitively received energies, you'll receive these particular types of things, symbols. You may receive a vision of a particular rock that you need to get. And once you have the rock, then you may want to inscribe it with like a rune or something like that. That also represents a particular state of agreement that a summoned being will work with you on as well too, if you want to, again, continue to work with them. But these are, again, all just focusing on the dream time, because the dream time, we have so much accessibility to our subconscious, and we're able to go into realms that we just can't tackle here in the physical reality. So again, besides the idea of guides that can work together with us in the awoken state here in physical reality, there are these amazing guides that you can conjure and that can be summoned in that way, and basically working out some type of arrangement to where there is equivalent exchange. And that even includes thought form entities as well too. So there's a lot to explore. So my advice firstly would be to create a totem. Find out what type of totem speaks to you the loudest. Again, with Amashiel, my red dragon, I just felt a quartz crystal worked great with him, and he was fully in agreement with that. And I just, again, just put some tape around the crystal and just printed out Amashiel. And I just did a meditation on it. He started putting his energy into it. That very night, I got a dream with him, and we were just kind of flying through a transition from one dream into another, which is representing dimensional travel, which what he represents. But again, no shortage of incredible beings. You may have guides, again, that are just pure astral beings that may appear very, very differently, that again look absolutely non-human. Floating orbs, plasmic energy, mist, just bizarre looking beings as well too. Beings with 5, 10, 20 heads. Beings that are connected to hyperspace realms. The whole idea and variety of beings are truly limitless. So it's just for you to do some exploring. Maybe you want to ask yourself, I would like to summon a Dreamtime guide to work with me in dreams. I want to really help to better myself, to really balance myself emotionally. I would like to put out a call to a Dreamtime guide that would be able to assist me. Good. Go into meditation and give that intention that in dream state, I want to be worked on. I want to be worked on very, very vigorously. I want to be shown everything about myself. Please, all particular types of guides in my dream plane that can come forward and help me with this, please make it so. Great. Now you can start allowing contact to happen. And again, you may start to receive, even in that meditation, a particular type of symbol. Okay? And you can draw that out and just meditate upon that, saying, thank you so much for giving this to me. I look forward to meeting you in the dream state tonight. Make that your solid intention. And you'll start mingling with these incredible Dreamtime guides. So, for any other questions relating to this video or any other videos on the channel, feel free to contact me through realitywhisperer.com. Of course, private sessions, digital courses, and free media is available. And of course, the brand new light circuitry attunements, which are basically the hottest seller, I'd say, right now. It's keeping me busy, that's for sure. But again, just some incredible results coming out of that as well, too, with this new healing technique. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care. May it be well with you. Goodbye.